Director of the Criminal Justice Institute here at Hillsborough Community College. On behalf of Dr. Ken Atwater, Hillsborough Community College President, and Dr. Shawn Robinson, Ybor City Campus President, welcome to the graduation ceremony this afternoon for Law Enforcement Academy Class 1801. At this time, I would ask that you please rise and remain standing for the entrance of the graduates and the presentation of colors by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office Honor Guard, and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Cadet Keaton Bruce.
Face half left, move.
Ready? Face. Freeze and up.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Up. Ready? Face.
Audience, you may be seated.
Face half right, move.
Audiences, give the Honor Guard a round of applause before they leave the building. For the benefit of our audience members, you may not realize the Honor Guard is an all-volunteer unit. They have full-time jobs as detention deputies, law enforcement deputies, detectives, whatever their occupation or position is at the Sheriff's Office. But in their spare time, if they have any, they volunteer as Honor Guard. So we're always appreciative of the fact that they're willing to volunteer their time and take their time to be here today. We also appreciate the Sheriff's Office and their support in allowing them to be here as well. So what I'd like to do at this time, again, just welcome to the Ybor City campus and the graduation ceremony for Law Enforcement Academy Class 1801. And I want to emphasize the word ceremony. There are different types of ceremonies in law enforcement. There are very solemn ceremonies, and there are those where we want to celebrate. And this is really a celebration, probably more than anything else. And it's probably more for you in the audience than it is our graduates. So during this ceremony this afternoon, this celebration, feel free to clap, hoot and holler, and whistle as we're recognizing your graduates. As I told them this morning during our rehearsal, they wouldn't be up here on the stage if it wasn't for your support. And we recognize and understand that. So you've earned the right and the opportunity to clap, hoot and holler, and whistle, and show your love and affection and support for the graduates here today. And vice versa, hopefully they'll do the same thing for you. Also, I want to point out a couple of things before we get into this. This is a milestone earlier in their careers. Obviously, one of the very first milestones or accomplishments for our graduates is just getting selected and hired by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Not everybody who applies to the agency gets selected. You know, working for the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office is a privilege and an honor. It's not a right. And not everybody who gets hired and selected goes through the Sheriff's Office orientation or Academy prep program and makes it over to the Academy. Unfortunately, there's a few that get lost along the way. And then we get here to the Academy, they have to go through 26 weeks of grueling training. They have to take no less than 18 written examinations and 6 proficiency skills tests. The state of Florida sets the standards for their performance in the academy. When we administer a written examination to any cadet, the state of Florida requires them to score no less than 80%. So let me put that in perspective for you. If you remember your days in school, if you scored a 79 on a written exam, you would get a B- or a C+. And if you're a parent and you've had some kids that scored a 79, some of you might have been excited about that. Here in the academy, that equates to an F, a failure. Think about that. Because the standards and the margin for error for a law enforcement or detention deputy is very, very, very small. So the state of Florida sets that standard very, very high. That's the minimum standard. So keep that in mind a little bit later this afternoon when we present the academic awards and you hear these grade point averages that will just blow your mind. The next thing is all of the practical skills tests that they have to do. They have to do firearms training. You see them listed on your program. They have to do self-defense training, medical first responder training, vehicle operations training. On some of those skills tests, they have to test and be 100% perfect on this test. So when we administer the unarmed self-defense test, they can't make any mistakes. They have to score 100%. When they do medical first responder, we're going to be passing that award out a little bit. They have to be 100% perfect on that test. And as human beings, we know how difficult it is to be perfect at anything. So you can understand the amount of pressure that these graduates were under as they were going through this academy. And keeping in mind, just because the state says those are the minimum standards, the Sheriff's Office and Hillsborough Community College have higher expectations for our graduates. 80 is the minimum standard, but we expect much more than that. And so one of the things that I want to point out, every graduate who's sitting up here on this stage today passed their state certification exam. So let's give them a round of applause for that. And just to demonstrate and show you that the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office is selecting the right individuals, the state passing rate, and I know Mr. Snap talked about this morning. We just got the results in from FDLE this week. The state average passing rate, we have 40 police academies. The average passing rate is 85%, 100% for this class. And I will tell you, not just to brag on the Sheriff's Office, but that's what we expect here at Hillsborough Community College. I know that's what Sheriff Chronister and his entire command staff expects. So this is pretty much the norm. It's not the exception. But nevertheless, we want to recognize all of their accomplishments and their milestones. We also understand that they're not done yet. They're going to go back to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. They're going to continue on with the next phase of their training. Then those that graduate from that program will be sworn in. They'll begin their field training officer program. So we appreciate Sheriff Chad Chronister and the entire command staff for being here today and giving us an opportunity to recognize the graduates for this milestone that they have achieved today. And I'm hoping that every single one of them will retire from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. If they do, this will be their only academy graduation. So with that in mind, it's important that we take this moment and we reflect on all of their accomplishments and then recognize all of their achievements and reward that. So again, it's a celebration. Feel free to hoot and holler, whistle and clap for them. Also, too, you're certainly welcome to take pictures. The Sheriff's Office has been gracious enough to provide a photographer, so thank you for being here. They're also videotaping today. You in the audience, you're welcome to pull out your cell phone cameras, your iPads, or whatever device that you're using to do that. When we're presenting the specialized awards, you're welcome to come down center stage and take a picture. When we're passing out the diplomas at the end of the ceremony, you're welcome to come forward. If you're too shy, you're welcome to stand up at your seat and do it, but we just ask that you not block the view of the people behind you or around you. When the ceremony's over with, we're going to remove the podium out of the way, and the class will come up on the steps, and hopefully the sheriff will be able to stick around with the command staff, and they'll take a class photo. Again, the Sheriff's Office is going to take some pictures and share those with the graduates later, but you'll be welcome to do that as well, okay? So let me get into our next round of introductions. Over here on your stage right to my left, first and foremost, we have Dr. Shawn Robinson. He's the president of the Ybor City campus, and he'll be saying a few remarks to the graduates. Next, you're welcome to applause if you want to. It lets me know that you're awake and paying attention. And for educators, that's good. The next is Colonel Kenneth Davis from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. He is currently serving as the commander of the Patrol Division, and I'll introduce him a little bit more formally later, but let's go ahead and give him a round of applause. Next, Master Deputy Scott Johnson of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, and he's here to present the Firearms Award. And do I have them out of order? And then it looks like next we have Master Deputy Lance Shiver, who's going to be presenting the Lead Driving Award. See, these guys can't follow directions. They're supposed to set in the order that they're presenting, but that doesn't matter. Next, we'll go with the flow. Senior Probation Officer Mike Hogdanola, who's here to present the Defensive Tactics Award. And the gentleman down there who's kind of wearing that strange uniform, he's from Tampa Fire Rescue. He's a driver engineer, and his name is Kerwin Stokes, and he's here to present the First Aid Award. Probably one of the hardest courses for all of our graduates. You know, they're here for law enforcement training, and then we throw this intensive 48-hour medical first responder course at them, because the reality is they're more likely to be the first public safety person responding to an accident or scene even before fire rescue gets there. So we want to make sure that they have training. And to put it in perspective for you, those 48 hours of training that they receive in about a week's time here at the Academy is equivalent to our 15-week EMT program at the Del Mabry campus. So they're basically taking 15 weeks of EMT training and condensing it down to 1 week. And the best instructors to do that are the ones who are actually doing it every day on the job, which is our fire rescue paramedics. So that's why driver engineer Kerwin Stokes is here today. And then next, we have the Academy class coordinator for the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. He's our liaison person. He's the person that we go to when we have to have issues with the class or need support. And his name is Deputy Anthony Caban from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. And I just want to thank you for being there for Mr. Snap every day and helping him out on his little things. And then last but not least, down there on the far end of your stage right is Mr. James Snap. He works for HCC. He is our Law Enforcement Academy coordinator, and then he's responsible for the day-to-day testing, supervision, and scheduling of the instructors, and then working with Deputy Caban to make sure that everything goes as smoothly as possible. So let's give him a round of applause as well. And again, Sheriff and your entire command staff, recruitment, screening staff, training staff over there, I want to thank you for coming out today and supporting us. But more importantly, I think it just speaks volumes for the type of leadership and organization that you have. These graduates, you obviously have an entire agency to run, but you're making the time to be here to show your support for them. And family members, when you look over and you see all of those white shirts over there, you should feel pretty comfortable and rest assured of the support that your graduates are going to be receiving from that command staff. And that speaks volumes. And they talk about the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office family. When you look over there to your left, there's that family sitting there in those white shirts that are going to be supporting those graduates for the next 20 to 30 years of their career. And I'll also be remiss if I didn't acknowledge some of the retirees from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Major Bill Davis, you want to stand up? Also, too, do we have any other retirees from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office or another law enforcement agency that I may have overlooked in the audience? Okay. I just want to make sure that I give everybody an equal opportunity to be recognized. So again, thank you for coming today. And at this time, I'm going to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Shawn Robinson. He's been the president of the Ybor City campus since 2007. I can almost remember my very first introduction. In fact, I think we had a graduation almost the first week that he was here. But prior to joining Hillsborough Community College, he was employed at Valencia College, Community College over in Orlando for 15 years. And he started off over there in an adjunct position, worked his way all the way up to academic assistant to the provost and a dean of social sciences. But more importantly, since he's been here at Hillsborough Community College, he's been active in our community, and that's critical. And just to give you an idea of how active he is in our local community to make better lives for all of us, he currently serves on the board of the Ybor City Chamber of Commerce, where he's active right now as the secretary, the Ybor City Development Corporation, where he was the past chair, Early Learning Coalition of Hillsborough County, which is right down the road, the vice chair, as well as the Tampa Hillsborough Film and Digital Media Commission. You're saying, well, why would he be on that? Well, we actually offer a digital media program here at the campus. But he's also a member of the Tampa Kiwanis Club Foundation Board of Directors, the Kiwanis Club of Tampa Board of Directors, President-elect. He remains active in his fraternity, as he also serves on a number of boards there as well. He has a Bachelor's of Science degree in Mathematics Education, a Master's of Education degree in Mathematics Education, and a Doctorate of Education degree in Curriculum and Instruction from the University of Central Florida over in Orlando. But one of the things, it's not uncommon for college presidents to have their doctorate degrees or PhDs like Bill Davis does out there in the audience. But in addition to that, one of the things that separates him from his peers, he also has his Juris Doctorate degree from Florida A&M University, and he's a member of the Florida Bar. So without further ado, let's have Dr. Shawn Robinson, Esquire, come up and say a few words.
Thank you all, and thank you, John. I will try to be shorter than that introduction. But again, welcome everyone to the HCC Ybor City campus and this graduation. I will keep my remarks brief. They will be mostly focused on the graduates, but there will be an audience participation point as well. Graduates, there are many important characteristics to being a good law enforcement officer, but a few stand out among the most important. The first is empathy. Law enforcement officers must never forget what may seem to be a routine call to them can be an extremely emotional and stressful situation for the person you are helping. Displaying a sincere feeling of concern is almost as important as the technicalities of the call. Vigilance. Years ago, being a cop was risky. Now it's just plain dangerous. The worst event can happen when you least expect it. Do not allow your job to become routine, or you will invite danger. You're not just worried about thugs and petty criminals. You now have to deal with international terrorists and ambushes. Professionalism. From this point on, you will live your life in a fishbowl. People will watch what you do and say, even when you're not in that uniform. Always tell the truth and admit your mistakes. Don't try to cover them up. If you choose the low road even once, it will cast a negative light, not just upon yourselves, but upon your family, friends, and your agency. You are given too much power and authority to use them improperly. Drive under control. More officers are hurt in automobile accidents than anything else they'll do. Remember your training. Get a life. Audience, this is your part. Before you turn them over to HCSO and HCC, and you still got some more time before you get them back fully, they had a life. What were some of those things that were part of that life that you want them to get back to you? Family time. What else? Church, your faith. What else? You all forgot? I heard fishing, I think. Exercise, not when they're chasing you, okay? Maybe healthy eating. All right, stay away from the donuts. I know there's a class we teach on that. Just teasing. What else? Video games, okay? Some of you had lots of hobbies and things that you used to do. And audience, as you think about that transition back, think about those things that you had with them before they came to HCSO and HCC for the training, because it's very important for them to remember the good times and the good things that you used to do. I know there's some kids out there that need diapers changed too, so that's probably something that you need to get back to as well. But graduates, along with this, think about those things that are going to make your life wonderful when you get off duty, because if you don't have anything to go back home to, you're going to have a hard time being out there on duty. So please, as you go every day, thank them for getting you to this point. Thank them for when you get to wearing one of those uniforms. and thank them for being there to say hello when you get home. And graduates, before you do that later, I want you to do that now. So if you would please give your family and friends a wonderful thank you, a rousing applause, whatever, to show your appreciation for getting you to this point. Now, family and friends, was that enough of a thank you for all the stuff that they put you through? The tasing, the pepper spray, the broken bones, you know, all of that stuff that happened. Was that really enough? Some of you had to be the first aid dummy, too. Was that really a good thank you? This is a tough crowd. I heard Dr. Meeks, or I'll give you a doctorate today, Director Meeks say that there's to be some hooting and hollering later. Please do some hooting and hollering. It's okay, it's HCC. Anyhow, later when they're not around the command staff, if you feel that your graduate really hasn't shown enough appreciation, make sure you do a little hooting and hollering before you give them that graduation gift or a nice lunch or dinner or whatever. Just kidding. But again, you want to make sure you have a mutual appreciation for each other, and that's very important going forward. In closing, please recruit those alongside you who you know will have your back in the sheriff's office, who you know are of high quality, high morals, and have the values that you want to be alongside while you're out there protecting the citizens of Hillsborough County. Congratulations, and I'll see you in a few moments for your diploma. Thank you.
Well, it's good to see that some of the training is obviously kicking in, because part of the training is not to show any emotions, you know, not to panic, not to get excited, and you can kind of see that right there on their faces today. Plus, it's a little intimidating when you look to the right. If you notice, they're probably just peeking out of the corner of their eye and looking at the entire command staff over there, and hopefully, you know, they will show their appreciation to you after the ceremony. All right, so let's move on to our another speaker. To get an agency perspective, it's important to have Colonel Davis come up and say a few words. He's a lifelong resident of Hillsborough County. He's probably one of the few native Floridians, Hillsborough County folks that we actually have in the area. There seems to be a lot of transplants. Has been employed with Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office since 1988. So if you do the math, how many years is that? Dr. Robinson, you're the mathematician, so you can tell us a little bit later. But he began his career just like these deputies here, starting out in uniform patrol and then working his way through a variety of assignments, to include the Environmental Marine Unit, Professional Standards Unit, and Legal Unit. Colonel Davis has also served as a supervisor in various units to include patrol, criminal investigations, special investigations, internal affairs, and homeland security. In 2010, he transitioned to the Department of Detention Services as the commander of Jail Division 2, which is the Falkenberg Road Jail, for those of you in the audience. In February of 2013, Colonel Davis became the department commander for the Department of Detention Services, where he was responsible for all of the jails, to include Orient Road, Falkenberg, as well as the Court Operations Division and Jail Support Services. Colonel Davis has a Bachelor's of Arts degree in Criminal Justice from St. Leo University. He's attended the prestigious Southern Police Institute's 119th Administrative Officers course at the University of Louisville. He did that in 2008, where he received class, listen to this, graduates, the Director's Award for graduating first in his class. So it's important. You can see that trend continues. Colonel Davis also attended the 50th session of the Senior Management Institute for Police, sponsored by the Police Executive Research Forum in 2012. And then April 2013, Colonel Davis attended the 253rd session of the Federal Bureau of Investigation's National Academy. Colonel Davis is also an avid outdoorsman and accomplished custom knife maker. So it's interesting to see what he's going to say next. So without further ado, let's have Colonel Davis come up and say a few remarks.
afternoon. I'm Colonel Davis, the commander of the Department of Patrol Services, and it's my honor to address the graduates today. I'd like to extend a special thank you to all the family and friends who are here in support of the graduates. We're grateful that you're able to celebrate their achievement with us. Graduates, be proud. You've completed a major milestone on the way toward your goal of becoming a Hillsborough County Deputy Sheriff. Enjoy today and appreciate the hard work you've done, both academically and physically, to be here today. As I'm sure you've shared with your family and friends, being selected to join the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office is a significant accomplishment. Academy orientation training and the academy itself have not been easy. Just remember, what lies ahead may prove to be more difficult. This career can consume you if you allow it. If you keep balance in family, faith, friends, and community, you can prevail. Throughout your training, you're becoming familiar with our expectation. Meeting those expectations can be demanding. Things such as respect, honesty, compassion, and courage are non-negotiable qualities in a law enforcement officer. You must have the willingness to confront evil when you see it, and sometimes to do so without regard for your own welfare. Whether courage, in and of itself, is a moral virtue, a personality trait, or a matter of temperament, one thing is certain. Courage is more than being unafraid in the face of physical danger. The courage to choose to do what is right when everyone around you wants to do what's easy or expected is the most rare form of courage. And in my experience, the most difficult courage to muster when it matters the most. Being a deputy sheriff is a vocation, a calling, if you will, and it's not for everyone. If done right, it can be rewarding in ways that will astonish you. It will not be all cops and robbers, car chases, or other things you see on television or in the movies. It will be you serving others in countless ways, both large and small. Helping a motorist change a tire, finding a lost child, calming a dispute, mentoring the young, or bringing comfort and reassurance to a victim. There will be great times, and there will be hard times. Remember, keep your pre-law enforcement family and friends involved in your life. They will remind you of who you really are and why you chose this path. This job, your job, will be taxing. It can wear on you. It'll tax your mind, your body, and your spirit. It will also be taxing on your families and close friends. You must recognize and appreciate that the people here today, your loved ones, will worry about you. That's what family members do. Never forget, every decision you make moving forward affects more than just you. It affects your family. A family that will soon include the men and women of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. You must be uncompromising in adherence to the moral and ethical principles instilled in you by those who raised you and by those sitting beside you. That's what got you here. You graduate today because of your hard work. Never forget the value of hard work. Be proud, but stay humble. Be forgiving and place others ahead of yourself. It's not about you. Lead at every opportunity. You will come across people who are having bad moments, but bad moments don't make all of them bad people. Be aware that in your effort to protect and serve, you will experience respect, disdain, admiration, and contempt, all on the same day, or maybe even during the same call. Some advice. When you become deputy sheriffs, you will be constitutional officers. You should read the Constitution of the United States of America. Understand the document that each of you will soon swear an oath to defend. The words, and more importantly, the spirit of its principles. One of the most rewarding aspects of a career in law enforcement is that virtually everything we do is necessary to someone. You will never lack for meaningful work if you have the right attitude. Your efforts will make a difference, no matter how small. If you do what is right, it will matter to someone. You may have many assignments throughout your career. I often tell people, worry about the job you have, and the job you want will find you. Always give more than you take. The credit and the rewards will sort themselves out. Strive to earn the respect and trust of your peers, supervisors, and the community. Graduates, be excited about your future. Your focus will soon shift to having that star pinned on your uniform. That's when it gets real. The words on that star say who hired you. The letters on your nameplate say who raised you. Represent them both with honor and integrity. With that star comes a tremendous amount of authority and responsibility. Never confuse these two things with power. Doing so will certainly lead to trouble. Remember, just because you can do something doesn't always mean you should. We congratulate you for making it to this point, and we look forward to the day that you become deputy sheriff. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. At the beginning of each class leadership is assigned to assist with the day-to-day management of the class. These positions carry additional responsibilities and enable the cadets selected to develop leadership abilities early in their careers with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. At this time, I would like to recognize the class leadership for Law Enforcement Academy Class 1801 and congratulate them for a job well done. The first squad leader, Cadet Lee Andre. Second squad leader, Cadet Richard Cofield. Third squad leader, Cadet Jessica Pinto. The class guide bearer, Cadet Stephen Duran. The class vice president, Cadet Keaton Bruce. Thank you all for making my life a little bit easier. You may be seated. At this time, I would like to ask the class president, Cadet Breck Spainer, to come forward and deliver his address to the class.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First, I'd like to say thank you to Sheriff Cronster, Chief Lazinski, and the rest of the command staff for taking the time out of their busy schedule to come here and celebrate this milestone with us. We'd also like to thank y'all for our not only for our jobs, but also for sponsoring us to the Academy. As we know, many others are not as fortunate. I'd also like to thank Colonel Davis and Dr. Robinson for their attendance today and inspirational words. I'd like to thank Major Dominguez and the rest of the HCSO training staff who have looked out for our best interests and ensured our success this far. I'd like to thank all the families and friends who who were able to make it today and show continued support for our career choice. We have been reminded over and over just how important family support is in this line of work. And I know personally I wouldn't have made it even this far without this love and support of my family and friends. So thank you all. To my classmates, I'd like to thank you all for remaining responsible, professional, and otherwise conducting yourselves within the highest standards at all times. It's been 5 months since we met at SOT Village, and in that short time, we've made everlasting friendships. We've grown so much as a team by overcoming obstacles and working together. Some of those obstacles include having babies, losing loved ones, gaining self-confidence, physical fitness, firearms proficiency, operating an emergency vehicle without killing the cones, OC spray, taser, and most importantly, passing Mr. Snap's tests. In areas where some were struggling, there are many others able and more than willing to help out. I would like to take this opportunity to recognize all of my classmates who have worked so hard to be here today. Mr. Snap will be presenting individual awards here in a few minutes. Prior to that, I would like to recognize a few cadets by giving out a couple of personal awards of my own. A few members of our class have become known or remembered by a talent, a special characteristic, or a comical memory. Throughout the academy, we've been put through lots of scenario-based training, ranging from simple communication techniques to handling critical incidents. None of our Baker Act or Marchman Act scenarios would have been possible without the raw acting talent of Cadet Riando. I'd like to present him with our SOT 51 Academy Award for Overacting. The next award goes to a cadet with the most bearing. No matter how close he got to the ring of fire, he remained composed and carried on walking the line. I'd like to present the Johnny Cash Award to Cadet Bogdan. Before entering the academy, we all heard rumors of Mr. Snap's tests and how difficult they could be. Week after week, we would pry and pry for hints on what to study, only to be told that the answers were in the book. Every once in a while, a cadet would challenge the legitimacy of one of Mr. Snap's questions, where he would respond by opening the book, pointing out the exact page, paragraph, and sentence where the answer was found word for word. However, we did have one class member who went 4 for 4 on challenges. I'd like to present the Snap's Nemesis Award to Cadet Bowers. Throughout the academy, we were also encouraged to ask as many questions as we needed. This last award goes to a cadet who has become known for debunking the philosophy that there is no such thing as a stupid question. The award for most inquisitive goes to Cadet Ortiz. One last thing I would like to address to my classmates is to remain focused. This is a milestone, not a finish line. Stay motivated and dedicated to seeking improvement and reaching your goals of becoming a sworn deputy. And in closing, I would like to recognize and express our most sincere gratitude to Mr. Snap and the HCC staff. Mr. Snap has worked tirelessly to prepare us for our state certification and for the next step in our training process. Through his hard work and dedication, he has ensured the success of our entire class. So on behalf of SOT 51, I would like to close by presenting Mr. Snap and HCC with a plaque to show our appreciation.
Thank you very much, class. Snaps Nemesis. Okay. I'm just wondering, you won all these challenges, but yet why wasn't your GPA higher then? Okay. As you can tell, the academy is very, very difficult. They put in a lot of hard work, but at the same time, I try to make it fun as much as it can be. Obviously, getting OC, getting tased is not fun. So when we have the opportunity, we do like to lighten the mood a little bit. So I appreciate that. And yeah, it was a nemesis, and thanks for pointing out my faults in front of my boss. So we will now move into the presentation of awards. During the course of the 22-week academy, there have been many opportunities for the cadets to excel and set themselves apart from the other cadets. While we are here to acknowledge and commend those who have successfully completed the academy, we'd like to take this opportunity to identify several cadets that have stood out in the different areas of instruction. We will begin with the Firearms or Top Gun Award, and to present this award is Master Deputy Scott Johnson, Firearms Instructor.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, and thank you for being here to support your graduates. It is, in my experience in over 20 years with the Sheriff's Office, there are a few times where we get to share a lot of what we do with our family and friends, so thank you all for being here to share this with them. I'm sure they appreciate it. To Sheriff Chronister and our Sheriff's Office family and command staff, thank you for being here to support your cadets. And to you guys, my congratulations. You've come a long way since we met first 6 months ago in the SOT Chow Hall trailer. The Firearms or Top Gun Award is given to the cadet whose proficiency scores achieve the highest overall shooting qualification level for the academy class, combining scores from daytime, nighttime, subdued lighting. For class 1801, this award goes to Cadet Andrew Bogdan.
The next award is the Defensive Tactics Award and will be presented by Senior Probation Officer Michael Cotignola.
Again, congratulations, guys, on this day, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the future out on the street. Defensive Tactics, we have the cadets for 80-plus hours of hand-to-hand offensive skills as well as defensive skills. We teach them how to use less than lethal weapons. We get to tase them. We get to spray them. We don't hit them with batons, but we get to watch them hit others with batons. So we get to have a little fun with them. And I do encourage you guys, this is definitely the beginning. Continue that physical training, mental training, and that emotional training for the next 30 years of your life. It's important, guys, okay? The Defensive Tactics Award is presented to the cadet who has shown the highest level of proficiency skills, combining assertiveness and professionalism throughout the training block. By the unanimous decision of the instructor team evaluating this class, the award goes to Cadet Breck Spanier.
The next award is a Defensive Driving Award and will be presented by Master Deputy Lance Shiver.
Driving is very important, just like all high liabilities. If we can't get to the call, we can't help the citizen, or we can't help the fellow deputies. The Defensive Driving Award is presented to the cadet who has not only passed the written block exam, but has demonstrated the highest level of proficiency skills throughout the 48-hour vehicle operations training. This recruit performed a timed driving exercise with the least amount of errors combined with the shortest completion time recorded by stopwatch evaluation. Class 1801 Top Driver Award is Cadet Rick Spanier.
First Responder Award is the next award to be presented and will be presented by driver and engineer Kerwin Stokes of Tampa Fire Rescue.
Good afternoon. While I was sitting over there, there's two things kept running through my mind. The first one was, man, how bad I stick out like a sore thumb with my blue shirt, not being a part of, the law enforcement family. However, I am a part of the first responder family. The second thing that was running through my mind is because I'm not a direct part of that law enforcement family, how privileged I am, and I'll speak for the rest of the first responder instructors, that Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office as well as HCC allows us to play a part in the growth and development of your future deputies. So thank you. The First Responder Award is presented to the cadet who not only demonstrates a high level of proficiency during the Applied Practical Medical Emergency Scenario Evaluation, but also ranks as the highest combined score for both the CPR exam and the Medical First Responder Final Exam. I am truly excited to present the award for Class 1801 to none other than Cadet Brett Spanier.
The Academic Award is presented to the cadet with the highest grade point average based upon a cumulative overall average involving 18 comprehensive examinations. It is my pleasure to present this award. Before announcing the winner, though, I would like to recognize those cadets who also achieved outstanding academic averages and were among the top 5 in the class. Mr. Meeks alluded a little bit ago of the standards, the state standards. Please pay very close attention to the numbers that I'm going to be presenting here and look just how tight the competition was. In 5th place with a GPA of 95% even, Cadet Cameron Hill. In 4th place with a GPA of 96.1667, Cadet Lee Andre. It's also interesting to point out for Cadet Andre, they took their state exam yesterday. I've been here for 12 years, and I went back and looked at previous years. He actually scored a 97 on the state exam, which is the highest HCC has ever seen. In 3rd place with a GPA of 96.4444, Cadet Jessica Rivera. In 2nd place with a GPA of 96.5556, Cadet Keaton Bruce. Thank you all for your academic excellence. You may be seated. And now for the 1st place academic award winner that goes to a cadet that achieved an overall GPA of 96.7222, Cadet Brett Spainer. The last award is the Merit Award and will be presented by John Meeks, the Director of the Criminal Justice Institute.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. The Merit Award is presented to the cadet who demonstrates an overall outstanding level of academic achievement, individual professionalism, and skill throughout the entire training program. This is a very prestigious award that is recognized statewide as being presented to the best all-around cadet who's excelled in multiple areas during the training. 10 different criteria are applied to this particular award, and we explained that to the graduates earlier today. It's my privilege to present the award for Class 1801. This award goes to a cadet that was recognized as a top 5 finalist in all 4 of the previous high liability courses, and was also recognized earlier for his academic excellence and also as the class president. So it's my privilege to present the award to Breck Spainer.
And now we will proceed with what Class 1801 has been eagerly waiting 22 weeks for, graduation. Class 1801, prepare for graduation.
First squad, left turn. Up. Left, face.
Lee G. Andre. Abigail R. Bieber. Andrew M. Bogdan. Keaton J. Bruce. Jonathan D. Carpenter. Richard Cofield. Paige M. Davis. Stephen M. Duran. Cameron B. Hill. Alexander Izeri Ortiz.
Right, face. Ready, seat. Left, face.
Matthew M. Lupko, the third.
Way to go, Bob. Home run, Bob. Way to go.
Michael C. Martin. Ryan K. McDermott. Jessica M. Pinto. Zach D. Powers. Matthew J. Randu. Jessica M. Rivera. Thomas A. Ryan, Jr. Breck T. Spaner. Hobson L. Strain IV.
Face. Ready, see.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Law Enforcement Academy Class 1801. Please feel free to come forward and take pictures with Class 1801 and to join us in the foyer for refreshments. This concludes today's ceremony. Cadet Spaner, you may now dismiss the class.